behind you on the speaker tied to that little restless.
Nice.
Libra gang. Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. That
Really funny.
I do have
But
kids. And closed-minded, and we're opening minds, but it's like they still expect me to pick, like, oh, you're trans or you're black. No, I'm
You're
both.
both.
It's intersectionalism. I cannot choose to be black or to be trans. I'm both. You know what I mean? Like, I speak for both worlds, and I'm not going to be quiet. I won't stop speaking for queer people. I won't stop speaking for black people. I get treated differently by the black community because they, especially by the men, they expect me to choose. Like, are you fighting for being black or being queer? Like, I'm fighting for both. Just like queer people have always fought for black people, I am fighting for both. They do backyard wrestling across the street. Yeah, that's what that is. They're backyard wrestling. Because your parents don't want you to fear the cops when you're a child. They want you to feel safe and protected, and that if something happens, you can call the cops, and they're not going to come kill you. But then you turn about 12 or 13, and you start noticing stuff by yourself. Not even with them telling you anything. You start going to stores, people are looking at you. Security's stopping you now. People are asking you if you have things in your pockets, and you're like, why? Why do I stand out from anybody else? And then it kind of like clicks one day. You're like, because I'm black. That's why. Plus my family's experience with the prison system. They've all been in and out of jail my entire life. I've watched my mom be pulled over so many times by cops for doing nothing. It just starts to like, you just start getting it more. People don't really need to tell you. You just experience it. But that's just my experience. Some parents do sit their children down and say, you're 10, you're 9, you're 7, whatever. This is how it's going to be for you. It was so bad for me. And it was like nobody really realized how bad it was for me. Like even my friends did not understand until like now how bad I actually had it. They just weren't having the same experience I was. Like they didn't have people throwing shoes at them on the bus. Nobody was zip tying their backpacks to lockers. Nobody was zip tying their locker clothes. I remember, I'll never forget once walking down the hallway where he literally opened his water bottle and fucking threw it at me. Like, people used to squirt me with water bottles in the fucking hallway. For what? For walking to class? And like the seniors my freshman year called me a nigger literally every day. Like I'd walk past the senior bench and they'd go, nigger, nigger. And I would just be like, what the fuck? And obviously, as a freshman, you're not going to say anything, so I just kept my head down, and, like, keeping my head down made it worse. It was like the quieter I tried to be, the more people were like, nah, fuck this person. Fuck this kid and everything he stands for. So, like, I was alone. There's so many people who feel like me, but we have no idea how to, like, bridge that gap. Like, I missed some really formative years of being black in an all-white school where I was the only black kid in our graduating class. And I get judged for being black here, but then I go somewhere like Washington, and you're like, oh, you're from Peters Township. And I'm like, dude, no. My car's a 2009 Chevy Cobalt I'm paying off. It doesn't even run. Like, no, it's not the way it sounds at all.
I'm curious with that.
Sorry. Oh, my God. I think the teachers were worse than the kids. I'd be sitting there staring at the board, and I'd be like, oh my God, the words are running off the wall. And my teachers would be like, Hayden, please be quiet. Like, and their solution was to just put me in the hallway. All that did was isolate me even more than I already was. Because now you're drawing attention to the fact that, one, I obviously have a problem, and two, now you're putting me out away from my class. You're not even trying to help. You're just putting me away from my class. Tom Sawyer, that was the worst lesson that we've ever done. Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn, I have never, it's just, the teachers don't care about saying the N-word, and they just say it, and they just act like it's not a problem. And, like, it bothered me so bad, and they'd be like, we're just gonna be mature and get through this. Like, no, just don't say it. Just pick another word to say. Scratch it out in your book and write it down. Just don't say it. Actually, how hard is it when you're reading to just not say it? Because even me, I'm reading a book, in my mind, I see that word, I stop. I'm like, oh, that's a word, and then I keep going. But it was so easy for the teachers to just like, I don't know, not give a fuck. Police brutality, all we're asking is to not be killed by the cops. And we can't even get into agreement with this. So let's just start there, one baby step at a time. Listen to what we're saying and hold yourselves accountable is really all it boils down to. And if you educate yourselves and people don't want to see your change, fuck that. Oh well. Keep educating yourself and keep fighting. If you do fucked up shit in high school, but you learn and change and educate yourself and people can't give you, oh well, there's people who will. Ignore those people. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't get discouraged. I see so many people who changed, but then they kind of expect to be like welcome back and an apology, and it's like, no. Like, just because you change doesn't mean people have to accept that change, but you still have to hold yourself accountable and keep fighting. You do, you know what I mean? If you do something to me in high school and you change and apologize and I don't accept your apology, you don't get to just stop because I didn't accept your apology. No. If you really change, you hold yourself accountable and you keep growing and you keep learning. That's how it has to be. And I'll say that the theater department, like, that's all I had. I don't know what the hell I would have done without theater and choir. I make music. That's my thing. Yeah. I mean, I like to act in high school, and if I had, like, a way to act right now, I would be. But, like, for the most part, I really like music. I'd love to be an actor one day. I would love to. But music's my passion. Like, if somebody said, I can make you famous right now, what do you want to do? Musician. Like, it wouldn't even be, that's all I've wanted to do my whole life. That, like, I don't want to do anything else. I just want to make music.